Should be fine.
I know I've normally got like the kids' coats up, hanging on the back of
Yeah.
the door. I'm not even going to introduce this episode. I'm just going to say, "Hi, Jamie. How's it going?"
Cool. Cool.
Uh, what's kept you busy this morning? I've just finished doing my check-ins for the day, and then I've got some emails to do. I've got some content to do and some programming, moving more people across platforms. And then I think I'm going to get another batch of videos from the videographer this afternoon, so I've got to do those. I think
Yeah.
it's working out about 2 hours worth of work every time he sends me 10. So
Really?
yeah,
That many?
what's that?
That many is taking you that long?
Well, by the time you import them, put the captions on, upload them, share them
Yeah.
to YouTube, put them into Kahunas,
Yeah,
uh,
it takes a while, doesn't it?
add all the notes. Yeah, it's quite a
Yeah.
bit of work.
What about, when you put the captions on it, can't you just add the captions in YouTube and turn the captions on for like subtitles?
Well, I want them done in a certain way for the app. So
Yeah.
once I've done that in CapCut, once you export it, it gives you the option to share it straight to YouTube anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
and then the script that I've got that I used for the voiceovers, I just
Mm.
put them in the description of the YouTube video and on the
Yeah,
description
that
of the
makes sense.
exercise
Yeah.
in the library as well. Anyway,
Yeah.
how's your day going?
Good. What have I done this morning? Been up some steps, done a food prep, had a call with my coach, and then literally did a little bit of work and then into this.
I was going to ask you about that actually. So there is no agenda for this episode. I thought it would be pretty cool just to do. There's a podcast I used to listen to called Bro Chat. It was for any bodybuilders watching, like Fuad Abiad does
Mm.
his the real bodybuilding podcast, and he just has people on and they just shoot the shit for an hour. And
Yeah,
it's
love
quite
it.
entertaining. So I thought I'll do one like Coach Chat.
Yeah, I love it.
Where you get different coaches on and different clients on and just shoot from the hip and see what happens. But
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, I can't remember you saying, have you just taken on another coach yourself?
No, so I've been back with my coach now for it's about a year.
I thought you'd stopped.
I
I
did.
didn't
I
really.
stopped. So I was working with my coach from 2020 up until 2024, just before I went to Australia.
Right.
And then I realized when I didn't have a coach for a year, essentially a year, just under a year, I think it was, that I was like, right, I need actually someone in my corner again because I'm not holding myself accountable. I'm just winging it with my training, winging it with food, like staying on top of it to a certain degree, but like just no, like I had structure, but no control. Like if I come into the weekend, I'd be like, oh yeah, I just have a takeaway, and I'm not checking in with
Isn't
anybody.
that, isn't that
I'm not checking in.
interesting that even
Yeah,
as
I'm not checking in with
coaches,
anyone. So like you didn't like if you when you do your check, like you've got a coach now. So when you do your check-in, and the same when we do our check, we look at check-ins ourselves, like for clients. We as coaches don't think about writing down, oh gosh, I reflect on that takeaway I had last night.
then
You don't think about it, do you?
nah,
Like if you didn't have a coach, but if you had a coach, you'd put in your check-in form, I had a takeaway last night
yeah,
because it's relevant to your coaching, isn't it?
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, it's just like I find it interesting that even as coaches, even as people who do this for other people ourselves, how it still comes back around that the thing our clients need is the thing that we need as well.
Yeah.
And that massively comes down to the emotion of the person. Like it's very easy to instruct or coach or show someone else the way forward when you're not in it yourself. But getting out of your own head, personally, is a nightmare for anyone, regardless of your experience.
Yeah.
Um, which is exactly why we have coaches as well.
Yeah.
It's dead easy to look at someone's last 3 or 4 months and go, you know, this is where you've been, this is where you're going, this is why that's happened, this is what you need to do to get you here for yourself. It's a bloody nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
you
just
can
takes
do it when you've got all the time in the world, but we haven't.
no, exactly. And we've already got the stresses of family, partner, whatever it could be in your life. And
Yeah,
then you've also got your business that you're running and building. And even though we love training and we love we're in a sort of a routine with food, it's very, very easy to just pick something up for food. Like how many times do you send me a voice note and you're eating?
yeah.
So it's little things like that, isn't it? And you don't even think about it.
Hmm.
And you'll grab something with a coffee or you'll grab something with like, I don't know, a drink of water or something like that. And all of a sudden then you're not even aware that you're doing it. You're not tracking it. You're not holding yourself accountable to anybody else or to your coach. And all of a sudden then it's the same way our clients are. These things start sort of compounding a little bit more then. And the weight just creeps up. And before you know it, you put a bit of weight on, you're out of shape, you feel sluggish, you feel low in energy, and you're just like, oh, right, I need some help again now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets like that. And that's just life, I think.
How honest are you with your coach if you have a slip up?
Honest. I'll tell him straight away.
Yeah. And do you?
Yeah. What's that?
Does it happen? Do you have the
Um,
option?
I actually had a conversation with him about this the other week because we were discussing like clients, we were discussing like both of our sort of coaching, like it's very similar to what we do. And like I think I've had a couple of slip ups over the years with him when I've coached with him, where I've gone out and had a few drinks or whatever, or I've had something off plan, but I haven't really been anything like working towards anything specific when I've been with him for that. So like if I was in a prep or his dieting, like it's very rare that I've slipped up in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I had like, I think there was one time when I was doing a photo shoot prep and I was about 2 weeks out from it, and maybe longer, maybe about a month, and I had a night out, and it was the first time I've ever had a night out in a prep. So this was my second photo shoot prep, and I told him I was going to go out. I told him I was going to have a few drinks, and I was like, I probably about a month away from the shoot, and I was lean, and I was on 2,000 calories, and I think I might have been on like 100 and something, 150 grams of protein, whatever it was. Um, and what I decided to do was have 1,000 calories of food that day and 1,000 calories of alcohol. And he actually programmed it for me differently. Like he programmed me in like, right, look, you have this amount of alcohol, and we're gonna try and keep it enough food volume in for the day. And I had more alcohol than I expected, and I was so close to getting like a pizza afterwards as well. And I remember thinking, right, I can't do that now for the last 3 weeks. But I came into the shoot still fine. It was only one day, but I did tell him. I did tell him it happened. Mm.
Alcohol's the worst. Like
Yeah.
once the first drink's past your lips, that's it. Like your adherence is
Oh,
going to go out the window.
as a guy, it's never just, oh, we're going for one, is it?
I'm getting more in tune with not drinking very much.
Yeah, I haven't really drank
Mainly
for,
because as I'm getting older, I'm just getting bored of it.
yeah,
And Claire doesn't drink very much. Like
no.
we'll maybe have a glass of wine or a cocktail in the house on Saturday,
Mm.
but we don't go out. Like even if we go out, we don't drink very much because we've been through it. We've had that many times where we've gone out and had a really crap sleep and woke up suffering. I think kids changes the game for you with regards to drinking. I think it certainly did for me. It got to the point where trying to wake up on a Saturday and Sunday morning, because my go-to was work hard during the like I was doing my marketing job. It was really stressful. I'd get to Friday, and this we're only talking a few years ago. I can remember one Friday I was in a particularly bad time at work. It was Friday, laptop down, went downstairs, and I had a bottle of wine before tea.
What?
And a bottle of wine, sorry, before I'd put the kids to bed.
Wow.
So in that like 5 till 7 window,
Yeah.
that one glass that I was supposed to have turned into a bottle, and then once they went to bed, I had more, and then
What was that then?
Saturday
Just
night and
stress from work, or
what's that?
what was that? Just you were just stressed from work, or you just weren't happy in the job, or something like that, and just thought I'll have a bottle of wine. It was
Bit
just
of
take
both,
the
just to
bit.
take the edge off, just the
Yeah.
usual like what people do to, oh, this is gonna, it basically just anesthetizes the feelings that you've had through the week.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was, excuse me, especially with having kids, that feeling of waking up on a Saturday and Sunday morning was just, it became unbearable. Like
Yeah. I
that
can imagine.
that lack of energy, that being in a bad mood because you were hungover, and just that had to change.
Yeah.
Now, I'd some weeks I don't drink at all, and occasionally it'll just be on a Saturday night where it does feel like a treat, and it's one drink.
Mm. I haven't had a drink since New Year's Eve.
Have you not?
Not one. No.
Blimey.
It's my longest time without any alcohol since I did my first ever photo shoot prep. But my first ever photo shoot prep was COVID. It was in lockdown, so nothing was open anyway, so it was easy to go 6 months without any alcohol. But I've literally done no alcohol since New Year's Eve night. I had a bottle of Peroni, I think, or 2 bottles of Peroni with a bit of food with family. And I have not touched any alcohol since then.
Yeah.
So it's coming up to 6 months at the end of this month. And obviously we're going to London in what, a
Yeah.
month's time away for the event. Like I'll have a drink there. I'll have a drink. I'll probably go for a drink or whatever with people. I've already spoke to a few of the other coaches there, sort of talking about going for a drink or whatever. But I'm not going to be someone who just has 5 or 6 drinks. And like it's like I think I'm sort of past. I think I'm sort of past doing that now in terms of like obviously throughout the odd time of the year, if you've got a wedding or you go away on holiday, it's different. But I could never go back to drinking every weekend. Like I'm taking the edge off of the drink. I've never really been one to take the edge off of the drink. I was more of a binge drinker, like a night out goer. Like I'd be out till
Yeah.
like 3 4 o'clock in the morning and just spending silly money on alcohol. And I went through a period of time for years with that, mate. Like probably from the ages of 18 till
Let me
about
guess. You
24.
you were in the typical go out and start on pints, and then by 3 o'clock you're on the vodka Red Bulls. And the worst,
The one, the vodka Red Bull for me was more Jack Daniels and Coke for me.
right? But it's always those kinds of
It's
drinks at the
always,
end of the
yeah,
night,
because
isn't
I play football on a Saturday. This is how it used to go. More so between 18 and 20, 21. I play football on a Saturday. You'd finish football at like 4 o'clock. And then you'd be in the pub after, a bit of food. All of a sudden, then you're watching the scores come in on the TV. You have 4 or 5 pints. And then all of a sudden, then you're going out in town from the pub. So then you've had 4 or 5, 6 pints. You're steaming. And then you end up out until in a nightclub then 3 o'clock in the morning. And then it just became a pattern then. And then also for me at the time, I wasn't really happy with like what I was doing in my career. I was working on a building site. I had no direction with where I was going with anything. I hated the job, and I just think the drinking, even though it wasn't like depressed or anything like that, it was just that was like my enjoyment. That was like my, as you could make call it, taking the edge off for the week. But then what would happen is I'd go out all night Saturday night. Sunday then it would be just food, hangover,
it?
and then Monday's back into the same cycle. I work on site, so it's quite active. So I didn't really put like loads of weight on or anything like that with what you could do with that lifestyle. And I still trained relatively well through the week, play football and stuff. So I never really sort of like was overweight or anything like that with it, but I was out of shape. I was like no condition to me at all, and I had no standards, like no standards at all, because I'm just going out every week drinking and then eating crap on a weekend.
Mm.
So that was my whole routine. Monday to Friday, I'd eat fairly like healthy, let's say. I wouldn't track calories or anything like that. I was just eating well. And then Saturday and Sunday would just be a write-off. Like alcohol Saturday, Sunday food write-off, Monday, oh my God, and go back into it again.
I used to do food challenges on a Sunday. I I would literally challenge myself to see just how much I could eat on a Sunday
Really?
afternoon, and just pile all the worst kind of crap in the
Yeah.
house. Oh God, I was like, for what I am now, for what I do now, when I think back to what I did years ago, like absolutely insane,
Mm.
insane levels of greed and gluttony, and like ordering 2 takeaways from 2 different places for them to come at the same time.
Yeah, I've done that as well. It's
Like,
ridiculous, isn't it?
oh, I, so like, and not even feeling guilt about it at the time,
Yeah,
like
I
just
know.
not being bothered.
Well, it's just over your head, isn't it? You don't care.
Yeah,
There's just
and
no.
then just falling asleep in a like. My thing was have a few drinks first, then order a pizza, just to get a taste for it, just to build the hunger a bit more. And then by the time you had it, you'd fall asleep, and then you'd wake up and not even remember having it. You couldn't even remember. Did I enjoy it?
No, it's crazy, isn't it? It's weird because like when I was doing that in my early 20s, you just don't really think anything of it because you're in your early 20s and you just think, oh well, that's what everybody else was doing. And when I look
Mm.
back now, like I would change that completely now. Well, obviously looking back, it's hindsight, isn't it? It's a great thing, but like if I was to give any advice to anybody, like in that age now, 10 years ago, me, I would just say, do not do that. There's so much more to life, and you can start a business or whatever. Like I wish I would have started doing this when I was 20.
Oh,
What I'm doing,
100%.
like I just wish I did. Like even though I've been
Well,
doing it a few years now, it's just I wish I would have gone. Wow, I wish I realised what my sort of thing was then.
you weren't mature enough then,
No, you're not. You learn from it. But I
and
learned loads of things
you've
from
got
working
to
on
go
site.
through the being stupid.
Yeah, I've learned loads of things from working on site, like a work ethic and like initiative and things like that. And like would I have learned that as a 20-year-old coach behind my laptop or on a gym floor? Probably not.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have learned all those things. So I take that as like a you don't really have an apprenticeship in this industry, do you? You just straight into it. There's no like training apart from your qualifications. So my apprenticeship or my life apprenticeship or skills were done on a building site for me. That gave me and probably going out. They gave me all the life and social skills that I can obviously put into coaching now in terms of being able to like relate with people.
Well, John did a good post about coaches and qualifications, and the point he made was forget qualifications. A qualification is your ticket to entry.
That's all it is.
It's like it's what you've got after that. Like, what have you experienced in your life?
Mm.
What have you done since then? It's got
Yeah,
nothing to
exactly.
do with. Um, I mean, my experience in learning and understanding about food, nutrition, and diet, and training and exercise has been built up over starting with weights when I was 11, and I'm
Mm.
48 now. And I had to purely just out of necessity more than anything else do my PT qualification just so I had something just to allow
Mm.
me just to give me that ticket to do it. And as I was doing it, I was like, "This is a load of shit. This
That's
like
awful, isn't it?
that's
Like I
absolutely
don't, I've
absolutely
still got all my
dreadful."
PT qualifications in my laptop somewhere, but I don't think I've ever gone back and looked at it. Because I don't think I've ever taken
No,
an
I
informed
haven't.
qualification with what I apply with coaching now. All the other things that I've learned through mentors and through having a coach myself has been like my sort of knowledge and being able to sort of take that in, apply it on people, learn from something. And it's a lot of it's you are applying things and learning things at the same time.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's a crazy industry when you get into. On the outside looking in, I remember when I decided
you
to become a
can't
PT.
learn exercise technique from a PT course. Like
Oh, good God, no.
it takes decades of getting it wrong to get it
Absolutely.
right.
And from our point of view as well, no one teaches business, do they? For coaches, they don't teach. No one teaches how to actually run or build a business. Like with your PT qualifications, you have to go externally for that. But one thing that stood out to me when I was first PT and probably my first year
I'm
of
losing
PT.
your volume a bit, Jamie.
Say it again.
I'm losing your volume a bit. You're going very quiet.
Oh, hang on. Can you hear me now?
I can, but it's a little bit quiet.
How do I change that on you? Audio. Is it worth putting some headphones in, do you think?
Uh, Let's keep going. I mean, it should be able to equalize it, even it out.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, what was I saying? Um, PT.
Experience.
Period. Yeah, so PT. So when I was in my first year of PT, I realized that, God, I don't know half as much as what I need to know about people and actually getting them a result in terms of like the psychology and the mindset of that. I was like, how the hell am I going to learn that? Like, there's one thing of understanding training and nutrition, but understanding the person and being able to get that person to action those things is a completely different thing. And you don't get taught any of that in your PT qualifications, do
No, and this is
you?
like we've both got quite a good range of clients, like a good number base. And, you know, in all honesty, with most people, like most people are similar in terms of even in their weight, there's probably not a huge difference in the number of pounds between if you got all your group of clients together, if you take the differences between their height, their weight, their goals and whatever else and their experience, there's not that much of a difference. So when you put an initial plan together, there's not that much of a difference between like most of them. They're all in a ballpark area of roughly
Mhm.
this is what calories and macros you need, training dose, steps and rest and everything else. There you go play. And then by the time a few weeks goes past, the the difference between what you've got for each one becomes wildly different. And they're at such opposite ends of the spectrum because of the amount of adjustments needed to factor in everything that's going on in the rest of their life. It's just like you've got one person over here, one person over there. It's but you've got to kind of start them almost at the same place to understand where that starts to drift and where you end up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so easy as well. I've noticed this myself in the last probably the last year of coaching. Is and you might notice this within yourself, or you might not have. I don't know, but we become the longer we are coaching similar people, we become very biased in our ways as coaches. As right, this is why we do it this way, and sometimes the client can't action it that way. But then we
Yeah,
may think, right, well, it's the client's fault.
yeah,
And sometimes we've got to look within our, and I actually had this conversation the other day and with someone because sometimes we've got to look within ourselves and go, well, should we have approached that better as the coach? Should we have maybe approached this slower and communicated to that person? It's hard because if someone comes in and they want to work with you for 3 months and they want to drop 10 kilos, then they're going to have to be adherent pretty much every single week, every single day of that week, because it's a short period of time and it's a lot of weight to lose, especially if they haven't got loads of weight to lose. Maybe they just need to go from, like, I don't know, for a guy, 95 kilos down to 85, let's say. It's different if you've got a more of an overweight person who's maybe 100 odd kilos and they might get that sort of whoosh effect really quick and lose a lot of weight. And I think sometimes, and what I've noticed sometimes with clients is they've come in with that goal and we've gone, yeah, absolutely, we can do this. And we look at the photos, we look at their readiness and the conversation we've had, but deep down they're actually not ready. And we've approached it or listened to actually what they said they want, as opposed to telling them actually what they need and saying,
yeah.
look, this is actually probably going to take you a little bit longer. And picking that up on maybe the first couple of check-ins um, through their response to check-ins or their response to their week, because really, if they want to achieve an outcome like that in a short period of time, they need to be consistent every single day of the week for that period of time. And that's very, very difficult for just a normal person to do if you're not already training or if you're not already doing something, isn't it? And it's
Very,
on
very
us.
hard to be consistent every single day of the week, week
Yeah,
in, week out, if you're a long-term one as well.
yeah,
If you've got goals which are so big that you need that time
mm,
because life gets in the way. You can't just be, I've had I've had one guy for over 2 years. I've got quite a few people for over a year, and you start to understand that like life doesn't just let you be consistent every single week and be on a diet every week. And there has to be this ebb and flow of we're going to pull back for a while. Now you're going to push for a while. Now you're going to pull back. Now you're going to push. And it's not always governed by our decision either. Sometimes you have to take into account like, oh, what you've got all of this stuff coming up, right? Maybe now is not the best time to be going in that direction. You need to
yeah,
do this. I had a guy in the call who he was wanting to lose more weight, but the approach that he'd taken up to now had been so extreme that my response to him was, you can't continue on that path if you want to continue getting the results. You need a phase of bringing yourself back up to a healthy point where everything in your body is working well. Then we can start pulling you back down. And I think it put him off. I think it
yeah,
put him off because he was like, but I don't want to spend like 4 to 6 weeks of going the opposite direction to the direction I want to go. But I was like, but that's what you need, because if you keep trying to go in the direction you're going to go, you are gonna run yourself into the ground completely.
Yeah, that's not the answer they want to hear, is it?
Unfortunately, not. But I'm not in this to. It's a tough line to draw sometimes, isn't it? Like
Mhm.
you don't want to say you don't want to be a yes man to people and just say I'll just do whatever you want, because that's not in their best interest, and that's not what
No.
we're here for
Mm.
ultimately.
Absolutely. I think that comes down just to having that clear communication from the off with someone like that.
Mm.
I think that's so key because you could say, yeah, like just to use that example of someone who wants to lose 10 kilos in 12 weeks, you can say, yeah, that's definitely achievable. But this is what it's going to take every single week. This is what this week, every single week for the next 12 weeks, has to look like for that to be achievable. And be prepared to have peaks and troughs of motivation through even throughout this short period of time. It's going to happen. And as long as they know that and you've communicated that, and things do start to, I don't know, mess up a little bit in week 3 and 4, I just think you need to come back to that conversation and say, look, we just may need to reestablish the expectations a little bit here and have a normal conversation around it and say, look, based off how you perform for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, I think we need to extend this this goal a little bit, and we maybe need to look at it slightly differently, and it's going to be a bit of a slower approach, and that's fine because you've got the best interest of the person, and you're not just thinking about right, how can I keep this client forever? You're actually thinking about how can we do this the right way so you don't
Mm.
rebound in 3 4 weeks time, whatever it's going to be, and you actually can build the right habits, you can build the right actions and behaviors. When we get to the end of, let's say, 6 to 12 months, you actually don't need me that much longer. You can actually go and action this by yourself. You might just need me for a bit of accountability here and there.
Yeah, I liked what you said about having the buy.
Excuse me.
So we'll probably coach people based on our own bias of what worked for us originally, and we'll try and put those methods to good use. I think from our own training perspective as well, and this comes back to why it's really useful for coaches to have coaches, because from our own training perspective, when we program things in for ourselves, we get stuck in our own bias. So if I think about my own training, if I got to a point where I was like, right, I've been doing this for too long now, I need to switch something up, my brain probably won't let me. It'll just revert back to, yeah, but I don't want to change those exercises. I want to stay with the ones that I've always done. I'm going to stay with the same diet setup that I've always done, because your own bias is going to stop you from trying something new.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get around that is by hiring somebody else, like what I did with Luke. And I just said, look, I've been doing my own shit for the same number of years now for too long. I won't let me do anything different. And if I don't, I'm not going to learn anything different. So can you just start from scratch and tell me what you would do in my shoes and see what that looks like, and I'll run with it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What was
But
your, you
I still find myself almost having the conversation with him, trying to peel it back towards my own bias. Like, I know you've set me diet up like this, but can I go back to having this as this meal at 8 o'clock? And he's going to be like, what are you talking?
know, just follow the plan.
Just follow the plan, Phil. That's what you asked for. That's what you've got.
But that's the
Um,
same, isn't it? Like when like you've set something up for one of your clients and they come back to you, well, can I do this instead? You're thinking what probably Luke's thinking,
yeah,
just follow it. It's the same thing, isn't it? But
yeah, just
I
do
think
it.
that's where the communication's so key. And I think especially online coaching, especially when we're not seeing people on a regular basis potentially, like we might just be in a check-in or whatever. Like when you're on the gym floor, you see your clients more, like especially if you're doing it like multiple times a week. Like most of my clients used to train me twice a week, so I'd see them twice a week in the gym. But then when you go online, the communication has to be even more. You don't need to be having touch points every single day, but you have to have more communication because anything can happen throughout that week, can't there? And we want to be able to try and just communicate as much as we can to it, so you do sort of stay on track, or we do put things in place to help you stay on track. Because how many
Yeah.
times have you had a check-in come through and I don't know, something's happened across the weekend, they didn't let you know and you couldn't help them navigate it. And then they come in and they've sort of put themselves down on the check-in because they didn't let you know or they didn't, and that just comes down to simple communication from them. Like, but sometimes we have to ask the questions to get that from them. So it's a bit of a miscommunication from both sides.
Yeah, I've got a couple of lads who have been like, look, I see you in the same cycle week in, week out. That's what I'm here for. Like,
Mm,
if you know things are bad, if you know you're about to make a wrong decision, if you know you've got something coming up and you need someone to tell you not to do it, send me a message and
yeah,
I'll talk you down and I'll like once you've got it off your chest, you'll feel better about it and you won't do it.
yeah,
And then they don't get in touch until
yeah.
they check in and they're like, oh, I had a really bad week. Why didn't why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you like
I know.
you
It
know?
is frustrating, mate. It is frustrating. But
Yeah,
I think that's just it's just the game that coaching is. I think in some
it
ways.
is.
Yeah.
Getting back to you then on your coaching stuff, what's your big plan at the moment? So in terms of your own physique development and like what are you currently being coached towards? What's your roadmap look like at the moment?
My own coaching myself.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. So as you know, Phil, I did a photo shoot back in. Let's reverse engineer all the way back to last year because I actually spoke about this on a post the other week, and I've actually got another post about it coming out this week as well. So this time last year, I hired my coach again because I knew I'd let my standards drop essentially, and I could see that I wasn't like massively out of shape, but I was out of shape considering to the standard I want to hold with my brand and my own sort of image really. So I did that prep up from June until June 25 to October 25. Um, so what was that, 4 months, just over 4 months. Did that photo shoot prep. Once I came out of it, my main focus for that was make sure I reversed diet really, really well. Because in the past, I haven't. And I was like, my standard moving forward is that I'm going to try and maintain a really good level of condition all year round. That's going to be the standard I set across my brand. And since then, I've been able to do that. But also in the last few months, where I've been a bit more into a deeper sort of build phase, I've built a good amount of tissue for the first time in my life, really.
mm.
I've always sort of been not held a lot of amount of tissue really upper body. Been through periods where I've been leaner, look bigger because I'm leaner, but I've never really built like a good substantial amount of muscle. I don't think really for the time I've been training, and I was like a big commitment for me to be able to do that. So I mapped all that out from back end of last year, December 25. I literally wrote all my goals out for the next year, and I sent them to my coach. And I said, "This is what I want to do between Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That's what I want to focus on." So we just broke that down in the roadmap then. So we continued the reverse phase, and then for like, because I had a bit of time in between where I went away, I went to Dubai, and then I had a little bit of time off around November time where I was doing a lot of things socially. Then it was Christmas, so the reverse diet was like strong, but there was a lot of things in between as well, where I was like socially out drinking or having a drink or having something to eat. So that went on for a little bit longer than it needed to. And then probably since end of January, I've been in this sort of build phase now. So a good 6 months coming up. And I've added from photo shoot, I've added about 11 pounds of weight.
In how many weeks? How many
Um,
weeks?
so from so from
Yeah.
photo so from photos, let's say from the start of the year, because I was actually a similar weight from my photo shoot at the start of the year between October and January. So I was 65 and a half kilos lean, and I'm just over 70 kilos now.
Okay.
So
That's quite slow and controlled.
yeah, so but I didn't want to like gain really quickly and then become fluffy again. So my focus was make sure I can stay lean, but still build quite sort of slowly. And in the last month or so, I really noticed my physique fill out a lot more,
Yeah.
while still staying lean. So my focus moving forward is to maintain that as much as possible. But I've actually set myself a bit of like a
Are
long
you
term.
maintaining or are you still building?
I'm still building, but I'm like it's a slow, like it's like a sort of a lean gain, let's call it.
Hmm.
It's not like a right. I'm going in a heavy sort of building phase. I'm not putting loads and loads of calories in. I'm eating 2,000. 2005, 2006 on average. I'm training
Right.
4 times. I'm training 4 times a week, and I'm running once a week as well. I've got a 10K run race I'm doing in just over a week as well. So I wanted to do a little bit of that and keep my fitness in a good position. And then back end of this year, then after I've done the 10K race, I'm just going to focus on building, but trying to stay as lean as I can. So the moment I start to lose my abs and my condition a little bit, I'm just going to do a mini cut and then back into the build.
Mm.
That's the focus for me because I want to be able to hold a standard for my brand that I can stay relatively in shape, like good condition all year round. That's the standard. I've always wanted to set that for myself, always. And I've always come out of a shoot, not badly, but rebounded to the point where I've gone out and I've gone drinking again, or or eaten out too much all the time. I'm not controlling it. And this time in the last few months, my standard was I need to control this better because I'm setting an example as a person and the type of person I want to coach as well. That's important for me.
Well, that's the thing as well, and that was quite a bit of a shock to the system for me when it finally dawned on us that hang on, doing the job you're doing, that's what you need to be, and you need to hold that. I kind of went into my photo shoot with the stupid idea that oh well, once I've got the photos, right, that's it. I can take
Okay.
my foot off and I can just look however I want behind a laptop and the photos will do the work. Uh-uh. You can't. You've got to be you've got to represent what it is you're doing every single day from now on. And you
Yeah.
look at the coaches that we're around, and people like Mark and Simon and Luke and Jonathan and everyone, like that's what they look like all the time.
Mm.
That's the standard they hold all the time, and that was quite a big wake up call because I did the same. Like that was my first photo shoot last year, and I was determined at the time for about half an hour that I was going to reverse properly. It lasted half an hour. It lasted from me leaving the gym to getting to the Metro Centre, to one of the bakery aisles, and that was it. It was gone. My head just went.
Mm.
But I finished my photo shoot on the 17th of December, literally a week before Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
what chance did I have?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's
You
different.
can't go into Christmas doing a photo shoot.
Well,
Well, you can, but Christ.
I finished my photo shoot on I think it was the 14th of October, I think. And on the 15th of October, I flew to Dubai. But like the day after, I went to Dubai for the Dubai live event, and I was there for a week. And I, I could have gone more silly than I did that week. I actually reined in a little bit. I didn't overly drink much, really. I probably stuck to maybe like 2 or 3 pints a day, maybe. It wasn't like 5, 6, 7 pints. When some of the other coaches were out there, we were drinking quite a bit.
Yeah.
And even when I think it was the second day there, it was a bit more of like a social as opposed to like the actual business sort of stuff. And I was quite reserved, really. I just didn't want to put myself in a situation where I was just going to be doing loads of drinking. And I remember leaving actually quite early from the day, not from the day, from the evening. And when all the other coaches wanted to stay out, drink and socialize, and yeah, I would have got something from that, like the connection and networking and stuff like that. But that's going back to the alcohol thing. It doesn't serve me like it used to. It doesn't really have a place for me anymore. And I
Well,
think I'd probably go on.
you were just saying there before about, we're going to London next month to
Mm.
do like a whole day workshop, coaching workshop. And you're talking about going out for drinks on the night before. I cannot think of anything worse than turning up in front of Mark
Oh,
for a whole
absolutely.
day, having had a skinful.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that. I'd have one. I'd probably have one.
I probably won't bother. I'll probably
Really?
just have I'll probably just have the 0% ones
I'll leave it
because I
there.
know what happens if I have one. I'll have
I'll
two,
leave it
I'll
there
have three, and then
at
I'll get picked on the next day.
10. Yeah, it's one. It was a bit like that in Dubai when we were there because we went out for food one night, and there's a few people having a few drinks, and I remember sitting there thinking, God, I could easily just go still a year and have 5 or 6, 7 drinks, but what's the point?
If it was the last day before you go home, fine. but
Yeah,
not
it
if there's
just
still stuff
it just
going
doesn't
on.
serve me at all anymore. Like, yeah, I haven't missed it at all.
No.
I've got to be careful sometimes because I think I've got a bit of in some ways I've got a bit of an addictive personality, and I've noticed that in myself the last few years where I can go all in on business, all in on like growing the brand, growing the business, just non-stop work, education, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden I could come off that a little bit and go all back into the lifestyle.
Hmm.
And I think the last 6 months for me has been like be disciplined, set a new standard for yourself, and actually live to that standard and make sure that standard stays. Because I remember from the years between 2020 and 2023, I was just all in on my building a PT business and getting some online clients when we went to COVID. That's all I thought about every single day. That's all I woke up and did. I didn't even go out for years. That's all I did. And then there was a moment where I felt really comfortable, really stable within my business. And 2023, I was busy PT. I had a few online clients, and then I started sort of falling back into that nightlife again. I was probably going out like twice a month, and it's not a lot, but when you go out twice a month and you're spending a lot of money and you're out drinking like 1 or 2 nights a week, all of a sudden then you slip back into that lifestyle a bit.
Well, I used to spend
So
about
easy.
best part of £100 a night, but that was back, what, 15 years ago? So by today's standards, that would easily be £200 a night,
Yeah,
easily.
I spent more
So,
than an hour on a night. It was just silly things like on a night out, like just on buying just crazy rounds of drinks, and it's just stupid. Like it's just stupid because you've got nothing to show for it, and you think you're having a great time, but really, when you look back, and when I look back on mine, I was just masking a moment of my life where I wasn't content or wasn't happy.
mm,
That's what it is, and that's what a lot of people are doing when it comes to drink. Like there is a lot of people who enjoy drink and they can just have one or two, but I know from my own experience, I know from speaking to other people, that's what they do when it comes to drinking on the weekend. They've got no other existence. They've got no other value in their life. So they just see that as a like one thing that they enjoy and they just do it. And they don't know how to get out of that because it's just become this thing that they do.
well, it's habits, isn't it?
It's
It's
habits.
just more bad habits that you're building over time that take even longer to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I remember I flew to Portugal back end of 2023 and it was like, right, I'm going to go away for a few days, do a bit of work. And I did do a bit of work. I had a bit of sun, solo travel. I just got drunk for 3 days. Did my work and then just got drunk and just met random people out. I was like, I look back now, I was like, why did I do that? Do you know what I mean? It's just stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just stupid. And it's just like, now I wouldn't do that.
So
Well,
how do you get people out of that now? Like, going back to clients,
yeah,
I kind of feel like I'm in a good position in that most of my clients are a bit older, so they've probably had that time where they've 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 been through all of that. They're now tired of it, and they've they're in that frame of mind where they're ready to just kind of settle and do things properly.
mm,
It must be very, very hard to coach younger people who still haven't come out the other side of that, who are still in that mindset of I just want to go out, get pissed, and party and do stupid things.
yeah. I think first of all, it's creating the awareness for them. It's asking why are they doing that. And the easy answer to that is I could, I'm just young and enjoy myself. Absolutely. But when does it stop? Like if you do it every weekend, you're spending so much money, and you're just feeling like crap every Sunday, every going into every Monday. Like there's a point where that needs to stop, isn't it? Or it needs to be a switch in it, or there needs to be some awareness as to why you're doing this. Because people do drink because they enjoy it, they do like the taste of it. But I would say a lot of people drink because they're not happy, and I think that's a lot of the root cause for a lot of people. I genuinely do believe that. A lot of people,
Well,
well, a lot of people disagree. People just say, "Oh, you're just boring. You don't drink." A lot of people say that, but I generally agree that would think that a lot of people who are binge more in the binge mentality. I would say they're unsure who they are. They're unsure of what direction they're going in life. They may be in a bad relationship. Maybe they've got a poor relationship with money or whatever, and they just lost. They've got no
Well,
direction.
sober is a boring place when you've got nothing to do.
Yeah, so you almost need to create. It's just it comes down to a set of values, doesn't it? Like what are your values, and your values will be what you're doing every single day,
Hmm.
or what you're working around every single day. In my opinion, like my values for the last 6 months have been coaching and my own health and fitness. Because that's all I put my energy effort into.
Yeah, I think people misunderstand what we mean when we talk about values,
Mm.
and they say like, "What is it you value?" Oh, well, I value honesty, and no, I'm not talking about things like that.
Yeah,
What are the things that you give a shit about? Like, what are the things that you know, um, like you've done that DeMartini test. Like
yeah,
that was a big. It's like little things like what are the things that are in your room next to you all the time, and you don't know why they're there,
mm.
and it could just be like a particular book or something that you have to have around you. It's like because it means something to you. Um, it's really difficult to get people to actually think about what they value. Like, what are the things that? And since I took that test, it's made me very aware of why I just can't get interested about certain things that people tell me, and it comes down to like I'm just not interested. It's not high enough in me.
It's
It's
the
not something
value.
I value, so I don't care about it.
Mm.
It sounds a little bit flippant, but it is kind of just I'm not interested. It doesn't matter to me.
Mm. It's quite like it's with going back to the clients. Like if clients come to you for fat loss and they don't change and they don't follow the plan, the first thing you would think of, right? Okay, what's the problem? Are we making it too hard for them to follow? Is it too difficult for them? And when you actually dig more with a person who's like that for a period of time, it's not that they it's not that it's difficult because us as coaches we have that conversation. We'll make it easy as possible for someone to be able to action on their food and not overhaul their diet. If they keep on turning up week after week and not following the plan, it's because they don't value the process of actually losing weight. They haven't connected the actual deeper meaning behind what that's going to bring, and really they just haven't highlighted that they're unhappy. I genuinely believe that. Like there's so many people who will, if you, let's take it like your best client who comes in and they follow the plan straight away, they lose loads of weight. What's driving that like action and behavior for them to lose weight? They're aware that they're not happy with how they look or how they feel,
Mm.
and it means so much more to them to get rid of that feeling. Some people come into us with wishy-washy goals of like, oh yeah, I want to lose a few pounds. It means nothing. It means
When you
nothing.
say that, I did a check in today, and I've just posted one of the quotes from it, um, because the guy's done really really well in his first 2 months. He's lost 2 stone in 2 months. He's like way ahead of where he wanted to be, and he's done everything literally like to the letter every single week. But when I remember the call, he was in a really bad place. Like he was really unhappy, and it wasn't just unhappy with how he was scared of what might happen if he stays like that. That was probably a bigger one. Not just like I don't like how I am now. It was the recognition that if I continue down this road, I could potentially lose a lot of things.
Mm.
And you could tell straight away that his level of motivation to and what he valued about achieving that result was so high that that's why he's got it.
Yeah, and everybody's values and reasons why are different for everything. Like, if I was to ask you now, when you did your photo shoot prep, because you prepped yourself for your photo shoot, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was the main reason to do that? What was going to be the big outcome that you were hoping to get? Not just the picture and being in shape and doing the prep. Like, what was the outcome for that for you? Was it like standards? Was it like showcasing you can do that for your business?
first and foremost, it was for the business.
Yeah.
So because I went online from being in person, I was starting to feel like a bit of a, well, no one knows me online. No one, most of the time, I'm showing myself just sat in a t-shirt, and I haven't yet showed what the finished article could look like, or I haven't proved like I can do this. So it was more proof than anything. It was like not I've arrived, but you've got to showcase what you can do because without that, you're like, well, who are you? You're just some guy in a t-shirt who sat behind a laptop.
Yeah.
Without the proof that you've actually gone from this to this. But then on a personal level, I've always been into bodybuilding since I was really young, and I was one of those people who had that belief, like because I was always so overweight. I'm going to do something about this next week about the vulnerability of my body shape and the massive love handles that I had and the big gut and everything else. That I never ever thought I would get rid of it. I never thought I would get rid of it, and I never ever thought I would get a look that was close to what I'd always looked up to from being young because I was always so into it. Like I went to a few shows. My brother got us into it because I had I've got two half brothers that are older than me. He was what influenced me getting into it. Plus, I grew up in the 80s, so if you think of every action film, every cartoon, it was like He-Man, Thundercats. Um, every film had Arnie or Stallone in it. Like
Yeah.
that's what the 80s were about. That's what we looked up to. That was the whole part of. And I always like, I want to be like that. So then finally, like at such a late age, to see that photo and go, holy shit, I did it, brilliant. Like I did it initially for the business, but the personal side that I got out of that afterwards was like, wow, shit. Like
Yeah.
I never knew, like I'd never ever thought I would actually get to look like that.
That's what I was like when I did my first one because I
Yeah.
originally did mine for understanding how you actually go through a like fat loss process. Like, or because I'd never really done one with anybody at the time, and I wanted to understand how to be coached, how to get like in an amazing shape, six pack sort of level, because I never really had one. And then that was my reason, like understand, learn it, and I can then apply that what I've learned to future clients who may want to go through this and be an inspiration to someone who may want to get this type of result. But then when you get your photos back and when you see actually what you've achieved, you realize actually how much of effect this has had on, oh my God, is that me? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Look what this has done for my belief in myself, not just what you wanted to get from it from your business or the education standpoint as a coach. Wow, this has given me this belief that I can actually go and do anything.
Mm.
And that's what changed. I genuinely believe that from my own experience and listening to yours, Phil. Like, if you commit to getting in like the best shape of your life could be totally different for everybody. It doesn't have to mean a photo shoot or being on stage or being super lean. The best shape of your life could mean something different for absolutely everybody. But I genuinely believe that, and for a lot of men as well, that's the best way to actually change who you are and change your belief patterns and change your how you see yourself is just get yourself in the best shape for you.
Yeah.
And that will change so much about how you think, how you act, how you behave, everything. And I think a lot of people can miss the, I don't know, maybe the talking part that some people need to change sometimes. And if they just actioned it on themselves and really sort of committed to a period of time to having that change, the domino effect in all of the areas of life will be massive.
Definitely.
Mm.
So what? I'm conscious of time. I think we've been on for an hour.
Yeah, nearly.
Probably have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
What's your next goals then? Because obviously you're going through a bit of a build, but do you have any kind of? I know it's weird. Like what is next? Like I've got one eye on competing potentially next year. It would be like a nice goal to have just to say I've stepped on stage once.
Yeah.
Not expecting to get anywhere, but I think it would be cool. It would be a cool thing to do.
Mm.
Um, but there's always some level of like what's next. Like I could like my wife trains and she's in like phenomenal shape at the minute, and then she's like she basically just follows me. You know, when I start a cut, she starts a cut with me,
Yeah.
and then when she sees me finish, and she's like, "What are you doing now?" Like I'm upping my calories, I'm going to build. Like, oh, I'll do that as well. Like,
Yeah.
so what's the goal? I don't know. Like, we're just gonna just keep going, just add a bit. Like, and I said, you get to a point where every year just becomes about just how can I just refine it a little bit more, and just keep adding to it and keep adding to it. Maybe there isn't anything really specific, but it's like, do you just keep going? Do you just keep, well, can I just reassess where I'm at and go, right, what if I added this or took away this, or and it's a constant progression, it's a constant evolvement.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
what's that like for you? Where do you have a particular goal in mind, or is it just see where it goes?
Yeah. So the goal for me this year was to not fully fully commit to being in this phase for a period of time because I don't need it. So I know I need a longer building phase. But one thing I mentioned a little while ago is I don't want the building phase to become sloppy. So I think for me, mine is just holding the standard I want to hold for myself in terms of being in relatively good condition and shape all year round, while showing constant sort of improvements, even or refinements, even if they're little,
Yeah.
even if it's just like next month I'm a pound up, let's say. I'm still lean, but I'm stronger, and I'm starting to fill out a little bit more. And then by the time it comes to Christmas, am I in a good position? Is my relationship still good with my training? Is my relationship still good with my food? Am I still doing all those things as opposed to thinking, right, okay, I'm thinking about another photo shoot because I'm bound to do another one because I love going through the process of that, and that'll be my fifth one when the next one I do. But for me, I want to make sure that I spend a good period of time like developing a little bit more in the gym, training performance, strength, um, minimizing the risk of injury as well with that while I'm getting stronger, and just stay as healthy as possible mentally and physically. Like that's the cliche as that sounds. That's the thing for me, and just make sure I stay on track with what I'm trying to work towards in terms of life, business, and then my own goals. I think if I come off track with what I'm working towards physically, it'll have a knock-on effect to what I'm doing in every other area.
Well,
But I
that's
know,
it. I mean, your goals don't have to be big, do they? Like, they might be quite lofty when you start, when a client comes in and they've got a massive goal to hit, but then when it is just continuous small improvements, that's also good because what is the opposite of that? If you stop altogether,
you're going
you're just going to fall straight back into old habits and back where you were.
and I think that's a problem that people struggle with. Like they think they have to have this massive goal. They think they have to have this big end goal to get to,
Mm.
and they've set themselves this big end goal. And it is important to set those goals. It's not that it's not important, but just little micro goals are important because, like what I just said there, can you maintain a level of condition? Can you maintain a level of consistency? That can be a goal.
Mm.
There's no major outcome with that.
And you might need help doing that.
Yeah, well, you need the accountability for it, don't you? There's no major outcome with that. Like, but like sometimes if a client's fallen off track and they want to and they're working towards something, and then you try and re-establish them for that week. The focus is get back to where you with that consistency. That's the only level of success we're looking at this week. Can you be consistent across the week? Not perfect, but can you be better than last week in terms of just a percentage better? Because we can build momentum from that,
Mm.
and you can do that with a level of consistency that you have. You can continue to build momentum. If you lose that consistency, you lose momentum, you lose all out of control, and all of a sudden you're going backwards again. So I
Mm.
think the biggest thing for me really is just keeping the consistency I've got. Whether it's boring to me, I'm not really bothered because I know the the end goal for me is bigger than just what the outcome is. It's actually going through the process and keep continuing to learn better ways of training for my body, better ways of eating for my body, better ways of recovering. I'm looking at all those markers all the time, and that's giving me the clarity to go, right, okay, I can set that little micro goal of improving, I don't know, my HRV, for example. And that can be something that I could be focusing on. That comes down to sleep and stress management.
Hmm.
And like, they're important, aren't they? But there's not a big outcome. It's not seeing me leaner, but I know it's having a big effect on how I perform.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, the process is the goal, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
I've probably been so headstrong focused on the diet, the training, that it's now becoming very apparent that actually sleep is probably the one thing that I'm lacking the most.
Mm.
Or good sleep or good consistent sleep is the
Yeah.
thing that's probably the thing that I need to focus on.
Mm. Yeah.
Cool. Should we
Cool. Though.
wrap that one up for today?
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
been it's been good. It's been good
Thanks.
just having an easy chat rather than having to, you know,
Instead of interviewing.
construct something with a purpose.
Yeah.